Ladies and gentlemen, Myth has arrived. As the customers were saying, they had an amazing game one. This game two absolutely blew it out of the water. By the way, Godspeed, Lace, Toffees, and the 7WG. Welcome back. Lace, thank you for joining us, but Myth.
Yeah, man, I've been out in the sunshine, so it's nice to be back on the desk, guys. I've seen too much sun here, but goddamn Myth! I'm so glad I got to witness this, honestly. I've been running around like a crazy person, but I got to witness the craziness that is Myth. Now, obviously, this Apex South team, you know, it's that kind of aggressive play style that gets me really going. I mean, match number 2, I'm not going to say it wasn't that great because it was a fantastic start from them. But as soon as it was a Team Liquid sort of dissipate from that and almost Virtus Pro, that just paved the way for Team Myth to sort of make their comeback and their aggressive play style. Usually we, give the reins to Jacob as the star player, but we gotta hand the mic over to Kiss because that was such an incredible performance, and to be able to hold that sort of northern side mid-zone while we had like Twisted Minds battle it out. It was just a waiting game, kind of sitting on that rock like a proud
It's
lion.
about getting to the rock. There's two teams that made a huge end game, okay? Twisted Minds, because they opened the door for Myth to get to where they got to. You heard Martin say it, you gotta take the rock. Well, Gibraltar was taken because Myth was able to slide in there during that fight between Ty Lue and Twisted Minds. And I don't care what anybody says. Scappy, he's scrappy. Jacob, he's a leader. But Kiss is the Reaper, and there's a reason we say Kiss of Death, because that man, guys, be went pop, pop, pop all over them.
I think what's just also so impressive, if you go back 2 years,
دي PUBG موبايل مش PUBG موبايل PUBG BC بالتصفيات بتاعت ال EWC.
Going back 2 years, Southeast Asia in general was never really seen as a very strong region, right? They would come to,
I'm upset.
They'd come to an international, they would kind of get farmed, unfortunately, and then they'd go home. Over the course of the last 2 years, we've seen the rise of Cerberus, we've seen the rise of Forest. Now, obviously, in this fantastic team here, and Southeast Asia is no longer here just to participate. They're here to take over.
These Thailand teams are really turning up the heat.
And boy, did they end up taking over. By the way, Twisted Minds being able to use that BRDM, or as I like to call it, the Splat Maker. Right. Because they were just going around all over the place, and they were able to bounce back. Remember what's been going on with that team? And this is kind of what I wanted to see out of Twisted Minds coming into that second game.
They're playing with a sub. They kept strong during that whole fight. And is there a more iconic duo than Batulin and the BRDM at this point? I don't know, because he seems to be using it really, really well. What the key to me is Ty Lue put a red zone on those boys. It was brutal. They got 3 back up. They pushed over the top, and they made Ty Lue look like children. They came over and they said, all right, you've got grenades when you can hide, but when it comes time for slinging lead, lads, we know how to play.
I feel like a child between you two tall guys.
That's why I'm all the way over here, okay?
I'm a very small man, but I don't know why you'd feel that way. But speaking of red zones, by the way, let's talk about Myth red zoning Liquid.
Yes.
That was absolutely disgusting. And then something else I want to talk about when we talk about Southeast Asia, or just Asia in general, Winda, dude, holy crap. Winda came through, he wiped AGAL almost completely by himself, which was absolutely disgusting, and then he went on with his teammate to continue to wreak havoc before 4AM went down. And this is the first time, I think, this year in a while that 4AM is really a serious team to look at, especially when they have Shen, the Malaysian superstar now. That team is disgusting.
4AM was given the reins to run the way they want to with this team this year, this sort of the latter
and you can tell.
And it is turning up really well. I think the other thing about Winda is, you're right, he's dead on. He's phenomenal, but he's this sort of new blood that's emerging, right? It's the same idea as like, where was Kiss
Fresh
3 or 4 years ago? Becoming monsters. And that is the thing. You brought up SEA, right? The whole region has been powerful, right? We got from that region PGC champions 2 in a row. I think Myth has watched that and said, okay, we can do what they do. They've moved from Forest, they got out of the trees, they've picked up a great support system. Now they have that behind them in addition to everything else they're doing. They're named after their own country. Like, that is all the hype you need to drive yourself and go the distance.
I got a chance to interview them both as well, and honestly, the focus on these guys, and I'm quite the yappy, chatty person, if you can't tell at home.
We didn't know.
Sorry, guys, it's coming out now, but my God, these boys are locked I hope you guys get to see what I was chatting to him about.
We did.
You can see
Earlier
it.
on, we got a chance to see all of that. But yeah, Kiz being able to perform, Winda as well. I can't wait to see what other teams and other players especially are going to be stepping it up in the coming matches. But I want to take a look at the overall. I want to see how everything's currently looking, because another squad that's kind of building that momentum, building that confidence, Shadow Esports. Once again, not crazy stats, but I'm just with them toughies. I just want them to do well, but you can see right now, Myth just kind of running with it.
So at their win at PGS, they averaged 5.1 points per game. They are already pushed well over that number, which means they don't have to really stress at this point. They have the freedom to run. And just to touch briefly on Shadow, they got wiped again. You know who wiped them this time, Godspeed?
Bonnie and Tommy.
Myth for the second time. Myth has their number. And so those guys need to adjust and just avoid the monsters.
Yeah, you can see the eliminations from all the squads. Team Liquid, I mean, we saw what happened with Team Liquid, especially what you were talking about, Godspeed. Those, Myth just demolished them, if we're being completely honest. Twisted Minds with the bounce back game esports, but I also want to take a look at some of the other teams on that second page, because these are teams, as we're heading into the first half, in a way, halfway through today, we need to start seeing a little bit more out of some of these squads.
So, Lace, I saw Team Vitality in that game. You saw it pull out the sort of the pickaxes, try to lock it down. It was a tough situation for them to sort of decide, do we go in? Do we get out of this defensive position? And I'm not sure. That's what I'm worried about when you look at them, is are they making proactive decisions?
Yeah, look, I was sort of touching on I like an aggressive squad, and I'm not seeing it from Vitality whatsoever. And this is what you need to do in these starting matches. You do need to really sort of push through and get those eliminations early, because otherwise people are going to take that lead. And I did not see that from them. And also Team Nemesis as well. I did sort of pick them as my underdog, but now they're a little bit too under.
A little too under the dogs, as they say.
Yes.
Some of the other squads, Geeky, not really having a great day here at this Star. I know a lot of people are expected a lot out of this squad. They were able to previously be with CIS. Now they have a Korean team coming in here. What are the expectations going into this next 4 matches, especially going into the next match?
I mean, I think for the organization, the expectations are high. I think it is a challenge. I mean, I saw, it's hard for you to give a hype speech that involves a translator, right? So, like, the team owners are trying to hype up their guys, and that can be difficult. I do think, again, 2 games in, and you and I know, like, we've played this game, Seven, you know that it is not something that is won in a sprint. This is a marathon, and so I'm not going to write them off for a tough 2 games where circles may not have favored them. I mean, Boatyard is kind of a one-off. Like, I almost got to throw away game 1 in terms of teams that didn't get in. Like, it's hard to do.
Well, let's give it a second, Godspeed. I want you to put yourself in this mindset, all right? You're one of the squads there towards the bottom. You're their coach. What are you going to be telling them, trying to hype them up? Let's just act like they don't have to.
I don't actually think my coaching style is a little less how do I say this? Hand-holdy. I would just lock in. You guys need to lock in. 2 teams that I think need to lock in specifically are AJAL and Supers. Right? Yeah. Those are 2 rosters that have absolutely no business being on the bottom. Now, again, we talk about only first 2 games, sure, yeah, whatever. Yep. But again, this is something that can snowball. You and I have specifically seen this so many times where a team that we know should make it, they're like, oh, we're not worried about them. Oh, we're not worried about them. All of a sudden, 2 games left, they're 40 points away from qualifying. So I do think those teams and those rosters are obviously strong enough to make a push. Again, we're early, but seeing them down there this early does give me a slight. You're not out of it when you let it slide, but every inch of rope you let slide rips the skin off your hands. You know what I'm saying? So you have to make those plays early. And for every chance you fall lower, it becomes harder, it becomes rougher to mentally get yourself back into this. That's my worry with Soup. I think the Supers are amazing. Everyone knows I love Soup, but I need them to step up and slam down here in game 3.
All right, well, we're going to be working on our coach talk here and make sure that we can actually end up airing it when we come to the desk. Because, Lace, you'll be the next one. Not right now. You'll be the next one, maybe, if one of these teams don't end up performing well, as we're going to be going into the last game. And for everybody watching at home, make sure you end up predicting some of these squads. Go to the EWC website, go to the app, and just put in your predictions, because it's out there for everybody. And if you do share anything on social media, use that hashtag EWC and hashtag EWC26, as we will love to see some of the stuff that you guys are sharing. But it's time that we send it over to none other than Avenger and Borosaurus.
Thank you very much, gang, and we are back for match number 3. We are heading to the dusty dunes of Miramar. So far, made in Thailand, and Team Liquid at the top of the table, but right behind them, Twisted Minds, GAM Esports, Virtus Pro rounding out that top 5. But as the desk mentioned, there's a couple of teams that haven't really shown up just yet, Martin, and maybe it's time for them to find some success here on Miramar.
But are we the ones to pass our judgment after just 2 of 12 games?
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll do that then. As the game is partying up here, Puerto Paraiso straight up northwest here. Very easy and great playing path. A lot of teams can get into the usual spots here. And Shadow Esports straight into Picado here. Can they make the most of it so far? They're 9 points because of that first game. They got a good amount of points here, but that center spot there, is that going to pay off, or is going to have to be strong for them? I'll say this, though. We're going to only have 1 Miramar per day for all of Esports World Cup. The featured map is now Takeover, where we have that twice per day. So Miramar just once. I do enjoy playing it. I think it's great, but we're going to be going just once per day here. Now for this and how everything kind of lines up, I think a lot of teams are used to those big rotations. And oh my God, look at that first circle pour. We're going straight up north.
Just barely kissing the plane path there, isn't it? All the way up to the northeast we go. Towards Cruz de Valle, up towards El Azahar, towards water treatment. We'll see where it ends up taking us. But 4 a.m., they've got their pick of the litter as to where they want to go to start things off. That could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I know you've had a little bit of experience in game. Do you find it getting that circle 1 dead center, does it become more of a problem, or would you rather be dead center, or would you rather be kind of working your way in from the edge knowing that your back is clear?
I mean, there's 2 metas that's very defined. If you are in anywhere of high priority into this circle like 4 a.m. is right now, you are leaving extremely early to go to some of these high priority compounds, the barns, some of the areas around the center where you have a lot of control, where teams are not able to pull up onto your position just easily without you being able to put some bullets towards them. So you usually have 1 or 2 guys that go into that, drop you just get a few guns, not maybe even having a level 1 backpack, a level 1 helm, just get straight into that, a 2-2 split. It's not so much about preference, it's more about, do we have that, high priority towards the center of the circle, or are we far away? And then that shifts towards, if we're far away, we're going to loot for a long time, try to get as much gear, get your preferred guns, attachment, everything set up. And also, as you saw in the last game, utility is so important.
Absolutely.
That's what the most teams, they loot for a long time for.
Yeah, it's a big difference between a good central compound and a central compound that you can defend.
Yeah.
Right? So, especially from all sides. As you know, you got some of the best teams in the world in these lobbies. And, they're always looking to third, fourth party, any potential fights, try to get those points. We have seen a priority being placed by these teams on securing those kills, making sure that they finish off any knocks that they get. But we've seen how important, you said, as the 60 point roughly is what we're kind of thinking of going in, at least through 2 games, as being our cut line. And there's no last chance qualifier, Martin. It is just top 16 moving on. So there's no backup plan as we see Team Liquid, getting a little bit close to R8, but it just looks like R8 doesn't want any of this. He's just going to go ahead and pop right on out of there.
Yeah, disengaging immediately here. R8 so far 0 kills, 0 placement points at the bottom of that leaderboard here, and Team Liquid just pushing on, and it's outside the circle. There's no point to fight for this. This has no priority, so I understand from R8's perspective. There's no point in staying here. 2 nades, a Molotov in hand, no first aids for him, so he's still trying to loot up here. Maybe even going back to El Pozo is worth it for him. As Ajar is going to try to get some more information. Liquid is leaving. They're going to be going out here, and AGAL so far, surprise to me, only 3 points through kills for them. Has destroyed Delvin, him as Insolsi, absolute all-star players. They've had a great performance throughout the year for them so far.
Yeah, a lot of expectations placed on that team, and with good reason. As you said, superstars up and down that roster, but nothing clicking just yet. But there's still plenty of time left to go as they fight their way in towards the center of the circle. We check in with Nemesis down there in Puerto Paraiso. Nobody really anywhere near them, and also nobody really hugging that eastern road ahead of them. So they should have a pretty clean path in, just depending on how long they decide to hold this coastline. If they decide to cut in, they may end up running into Virtus Pro, but we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, AGL obviously getting 2 second places in 2 of the series throughout the PGSs we've had so far this year. We take a look at 4 a.m. here. They're a little bit greedy, I'll say. It's a 2-1-1 split for them, and if some of these teams sniff out that it's just 1 or 2 players in some of the high priority compound, they're going to get pulled up on. They're going to get drive-by'd. I'm looking forward to see what happens with that one for sure.
One thing they got going for them is that their split is pretty tight. So if they do get pulled up on, drop a couple of smokes, maybe a couple of Molotovs by the door, and you could slow things down enough that maybe your teammates could come provide some support, but then you open yourself up to the potentials of third parties, fourth parties. Obviously, you're dead center, right? So everybody is going to see that happening, and that is the risk you take by taking those high priority compounds. But we'll keep an eye on 4 a.m. as we check in with Vitality coming through just north of Picado. Looks like they should have a pretty free path in.
Absolutely. And now for the teams that come in late, usually these 6 to 8 teams that are not close or somewhere close to the center, that's just about information now. Trying to sniff out where other teams are, and especially with the circle pop, to see if anyone starts leaving that compound. If they are in a split, you can see a car leaving a compound, and it's like, okay, they're regrouping in another spot they prefer, and that's where the backfill comes in, especially here from a team like Virtus Pro. They're going to come in from the southern side from a high ground spot. They're going to have lots of information available to them once the circle starts moving in closer and starts having a new pop.
Let's check in with Ty Lu. You see just on your mini-map there, Himas from AGAL. This has been a hallmark of AGAL's play. They do like taking these wide individual splits just to get a lot of information about what's going on around them. And it looks like they'll hear Ty Lu, if not see them. Himas will hold the line for now, and Ty Lu will just continue their way around. They do have GAM off to the north as well, continuing to make their way in. I don't know about you, Avenger, but this circle, and I say this knowing that we've had hard shifts before, but this feels like it's got hard shift written all over it, doesn't it? I mean, it's just everybody is crowding to the south side of this zone, essentially. And if this hard shifts to the north, it would be absolute mayhem.
And especially with Myth coming in on the northern side, wouldn't it be a classic that we do get a water treatment shift when they are so far away, especially with how far they've driven? We have seen some tendencies with that coming in, so let's see how Myth approaches this one here. Also with Liquid and Arid coming in from that western side, wouldn't that be a grace for them to get just a little bit of love from that circle shift? But yeah, you are right. South and middle is very, very congested. Lots of space towards that northwestern side. Would love a classic hard shift towards the northwest. All the teams would hate it.
Oh yeah, no.
Just us talking about it, they despise us.
I mean, look, we're here for fun. And chaos equals fun most of the time.
Facts.
Well, let's see if we're going to get it. We did see Team Liquid playing with that BRDM, so that's something to keep in mind as you do get that water treatment shift. So all the teams to the south and the east have to start making their way in. You see AGL already in vehicles. Full Sense on the very far south side. They're going to have a hard time getting in, as now they've got Shadow Esports, Vitality, any number of teams that could make their way over there as well.
Absolutely. Virtus Pro not getting anything from this circle here. They're actually trying to exit, maybe go for a wide wrap here potentially.
You do see a couple of teams kind of considering, like Nemesis right now is trying to make their way up to the north on the eastern side, which may push them over towards Ty Lu. It looks like GAM and Myth coming in late from that northern side have actually been blessed because they have just their pick of the litter as to where they want to play. Is
oh my god, AGL full pull up onto this 4 a.m. compound currently held by Hitsameme. And
oh, the rest of the 4 a.m. boys just hopped in vehicles too, so it doesn't look like they're gonna leave Hitsameme by himself here. As we'll see if he can escape in the Bronco. Nobody's shooting just, that's a tough turn. Oh no, oh no. Oh, every second that ticks by.
Oh, he actually managed to get it out.
Oh my goodness. That almost feels like AGL let him escape there almost.
And also because like 4am already has a decent compound here. Sure, it's not as dead center as AGL's here, but I'd rather be a 4-man strong here with a decent compound, and they can backfill this compound later on. 4am can still move west here, so getting Hitsameme out here is very crucial for 4am's campaign throughout this Miramar game that we have going on. Match 3 so far. After this game, we're halfway done. Losing a few tires here for Hitsameme. That is not good. Already smoking just a little bit here. He's going to try to get out and get behind some of the cover that's here. Shots to come in, connecting, and he's just behind cover. Delvin, IGL, and the GOAT coming in from him.
There's a little combination there between AGAL. Looks like Spaceman might be going on a rescue mission here to get Hazameme, but keep an eye on that. Here's Full Sense pulling up on this southwestern side. Now they got Tigger off in the blue, and they're going to spot out R8 just ahead of them. They should maybe spot out Team Liquid as well. I think Luke 12 was the only one left behind, but Team Liquid, nice path for them. They managed to make their way into that northwestern side relatively cleanly, so a lot of space for them to work around just on that western part of water treatment. But Vitality, they might be in trouble here. They're making the send in right between Twisted Minds and R8.
Oh, look at all these shots. And in the arena, it's rumbling. You hear everyone pumping their DMRs towards 4 AM. And now with this one here, next circle's about to be popping here, and DN Super's ready for this emergency pickup. It goes somewhat south here, so I might wonder if one of them just stays. Twisted Minds looking great, GK looking great, AGL still in, water treatment's completely open, and Team Liquid is moving in, and they're getting extremely close to Myth here. The two top teams potentially fighting shortly for water treatment control.
Are indeed, and it looks like Team Liquid's going to go for the treatment plant itself, while Myth will continue hanging out on those hills just to the north. Looked like Virtus Pro actually went south. They left the circle, then came back in. So that south side, you can just see it's so congested that the teams are being forced to kind of make somewhat awkward moves here. As Full Sense will full send directly into the south side of water treatment, but Liquid not really set up for this just yet. They're still kind of finding their way around as Purdy Curdy has that BRDM scouting around, and that Sandstorm hitting at the worst possible time. I'm not sure if he was able to hear Full Sense pull through. Here's Nemesis. We'll take a few shots at GAM, at least the trailing duo of GAM making their way through their territory.
They're trying to take some open space along these ridges here, but Myth is there. Jacob, the IGL, is out front scouting, trying to get information from Myth, as the other guys are backfilling and having high ground control, putting a lot of pressure on GAM as they move in and get closer to this spot here. And yeah, sure, they're inside the circle now, but have teams on multiple sides here. With Jacob's spot here, that could easily be an approach for Myth to take control of this northern side. Purdy Curdy and the guys from Liquid are maintaining some of the control here of the water treatment, but I don't think they are aware how close and how many of Full Sense is inside the southern side of water treatment.
I feel like if Jacob had any more than just one grenade, he might get a little bit more active here. But if nothing else, he's going to at least keep track of GAM. Just on the other side, you see Scappy, Baron, and Kiss still off to the north, still kind of keeping track of everything, making their way through. But this is not a bad spot for Myth to play here, as I think Kiss has actually just popped on the mortar. He might be getting the coordinates from Jacob. And we'll see if those mortars do fall on top of GAM here.
I love that approach from Myth. Having that frontline man with the information, the brain of the operation from Jacob, and then trying to set up a potential approach and assault onto GAM. Let's see what happens with this one here. R8 also getting somewhat involved here with the Full Sense and Team Liquid's shenanigans inside water treatment. They do have a lot of control on that western side here. If they get a western shift here, it could be huge. My biggest observation right now is that the 3-1 split from Twisted Minds, having example inside that little gas station, if that shifts towards them, it's going to leave a lot of open space with the big Twisted Mind compound in the center.
Go. The mortars are falling, but they're going to go a little bit too far. But Jacob will find Tanvu. He'll find another one as well. Jacob with the high ground, making that AUG sing. But now he's getting shot at from the side by Sololzi. He's got to retreat.
Scabby might have heard. He's right here. You heard the nade. Shots coming in. Baron finds it. He drops the nade, though. Could be doing damage to him. Doc Juice confirms himself, but does some damage to Scabby. One more player left alive. It's Cloris. Nades are hauling towards him. It's doing damage to him. 39 from that one. He does have a Panzerfaust in hand.
He saw Purdy Curdy pulling up in the BRDM and pulled out the Panzerfaust. Looks like Kurt was able to escape just in the nick of time. Virtus Pro gets eliminated, crashing right on top of Petrogor Road. But that south shift so huge right now. As you mentioned, Twisted Minds had that compound, but they are now sharing it with Shadow Esports.
Oh my god, this shift is insane. There's so much open fields in play here with that road going through. Tyloo sending it. Cowboy finds Kiss. Diffix got the nade, but everything is opening up here. Guman did get Dragon. Jacob goes out as well. Team Liquid putting so much pressure on it. All the teams on the northern side, they realize we have no priority inside the circle. We're just going to fight for points, try to get as many kills and eliminations as possible.
Oh, so many teams opting for the salvage game right now as you see all the scrapping going on the north side, on the northeast side. AGL just trying to send it right through the middle, through the GK 4 AM gauntlet, and it looks like they're going to get away with it for now. Twisted Minds still managing to keep all 4 up while holding the line here against Shadow Esports, but there are eyes looking over in this direction as it looks like Full Sense might be sending something. Myth will get eliminated in the end as Gam and Nemesis crash down upon them. Looks like Team Liquid is now going to leave water treatment as well.
And this is a very breachable compound right now with Supers and Tyloo both having lost players. A lot of pressure is being applied here. 4AM is considering, is this worth it? Shots coming in. Tyloo is out in 14th place as Guman and Deal is left to a 2-man in this compound here, but 4 kills for them is going to push them up the leaderboard.
4 kills definitely needed by Supers considering the start that they've had right now, but 4AM is starting to regroup as we see Nemesis trading off with Gam. Only Clory's left alive, playing around that ridgeline, stayed with the blue zone flank. Not going to find any joy, but Clory's is going down to the blue quickly. The grenades will get sent out. He's going to put one up against the backboard. It's not going to do enough to take down Diffix, but Clory's is bleeding out. Team Liquid will find Huang F, steal one more kill away as they continue to just play from the edge. See if they can maybe third party this, get some more points.
Shots and damage done here. We're talking about it, but Team Liquid was so smart. They're putting on pressure onto them and still got that BRDM in play here. Now they're going towards Geeky. That might be a big fight here. I don't know if it's worth pulling up in a compound like this, but there's no priority. Cloris finds Diffix, continues to have an impact onto Nemesis.
These solo players are so hard to get rid of as Clory's showing him out, and there you go. Stead will end up finishing him off, and we'll try to see if he can make his way in. It looks like he's electing not even to try. We'll just go ahead and try to heal up and heal through the blue, see if we can get anything off of that as we see Twisted Minds still having to deal with a shadow in their midst, but it looks like they're content with letting them hold that compound for now. But you see Team Liquid getting peppered from range. They're going to have to hop all into the BRDM just to survive.
Just down to Purdy Curdy and Luke 12 here. Go out for the center. Look, there's a few open spots here. That might be very playable for them. Yeah, actually, it is somewhat center in this zone. And we do have a big road in the middle that's splitting the zone in half here. Now Guman is going to be trying to defend this spot here from 4AM.
We were waiting for this push. It looked like 4AM was sniffing around in this direction, knowing that Supers was down to 2, but Supers holding the line so far. As you see, the circle will got up to the north once again. More fighting going on as R8 is getting eliminated. It looks like Shadow has overstayed their welcome. R8 trying to crash into that same compound. That's a little ambitious. They're going to pay the price for it as they are down to just 1.
Yeah, Nemesis out in 12th place here. So many teams trying to approach this Twisted Mind compound. They're being smart about it. They're holding off. They're maintaining control of the western side because they know they can third party later on. They didn't want anything from this very breachable side of the compound here. Now, damage done. Look at this. 4AM got the res, but Supers are trying to put so much pressure onto them to get the most out of it. Perfectix finds Belmont, and now Spaceman. Look at that. The off angle from Deal pays off.
Supers just 5-head plays here, but there's just too many men to deal with, and Deal will get spotted out in the end, and they know exactly where Guman is. Up and on the high ground. You hear shots coming in. This is Vitality third partying from range, making things a little bit difficult as they'll steal away Deal. Now the grenades will come through. Blue zone grenade do a little bit of damage, but Guman just a pain in the butt right now for 4 angry men.
Molotov as well. That's going to be him out for sure. He's laying down into that's going to be DN Supers out in 11th place here. Winner gets it with the Molotov.
Duke managed to collect a few kills there before going out, so not the worst thing ever there for DNS, but again, 3 games in, only 8 points. Not the way they wanted to start their tournament. But 4AM still 4 up as Vitality have to send something in here, find a spot to play, and they've got some ridges that could actually maybe keep an eye over here on this Twisted Shadow R8 compound.
It's going to be a lot of fights with that. Fulson's also trying to survive and make the most of it, but Flash, so much damage being done here by Phase 5 as everything closes in 20 seconds. We're going to hit Phase 6. Parkbro finds Quizzy. Some damage done here onto Vitality as they have this center spot here. It could pay off for them, but let's see how much time they got for it.
Man.
Oh, look at the util coming in. Levante goes down as well to I-26, Faro.
You almost feel like that was a bait mortar pit for them to hide in. It looked so good until it didn't, and now they are in trouble as Vitality is just taking it from all sides. Gedrock's the last player left on his feet. We'll see if Hello My Bag can actually retreat through the smoke cloud to get revived, but that is going to be asking a lot here as you see Chewy from Petrichor Road just keeping eyes on everything around him. Diggy, diggy hole, the mantra of the day, as mortars will fall around them. 4 AM on the move now too.
Down to just 9 teams here, Paro. Just one more team eliminated. It's going to be one more point for placement here. So much pressure being put onto Vitality, and it just swings around the ball. The cars are exploding too, and yeah, you said it perfectly here. That could be a great bait setup for it. Did love it. AGL here. They have the eastern side control here as GK try to move into the northern side here, but they also have Team Liquid that's set up towards that center spot. We still have this big road that's effectively just a big river of nothing going through because there's just open space and no cover to play around that.
Absolutely, and saw GK, they were causing problems for a lot of teams down south. 6 kills already for them. They've taken a knock. It looks like they're going to be able to get that man back on his feet. I think that's EJ. Should be able to get him revived as 4 AM getting a little bit close to Petrichor Road, but you see how difficult this can be to dig these guys out as grenades and bullets will take down 2 from 4 AM almost instantly. Shen has to stop down to heal up as Winda kind of offside right now. Not part of all of this nonsense just yet. The blue zone grenade going to force Shen to move once again. Not able to go for the res on the Spaceman just yet.
See here what 4AM is going to be able to do. I don't think they're able to save Spaceman. If it looks like, oh, okay, might be able to get the rest off here. No utility being thrown at them just now. Parkro is out. Stolen by Pretty Curdy here. Look, it makes the most out of this one here. Look how many teams is on the south compared to the north. AGL, Liquid, half a Liquid, half a GK basically. This might be an AGL game depending on what happens here. Shen, more damage done. This car is going to explode too. The Golden Mirado out of there.
Well, it was a good thought for a second, but fortunately for them, they're still in right now. No more vehicles, though. You be the rest of your game kind of decided by how many more smokes you have in the bag. As example, just free farming fire over on this direction. 5 kills now for Twisted Mind, still 4 alive. A lot of that having to do with the patience that they've displayed in holding this compound, letting Shadow Esports just remain as a 3-man in there. Avoid them for now. Eventually, you're going to have to deal with them. But for now, just let them survive.
This is such a great compound to be putting out pressure to the rest of the circle. It's just flat terrain around them. Let's see if they are able to maintain control. No, look at that. That's a perfect circle for R8 and Shadow Esports, but Twisted Minds is 4 guys strong. They know exactly how to approach this next compound. It's going to take some fight, but let's see what happens. From the northern side of the circle, though, it feels like only one team is going to be able to stay alive once this fight between AGL, Liquid, and GK and finally ends up.
Shadow Esports going to get an opportunity to fix their mistakes from game 1 whenever they weren't able to hold off Myth as they made their push away. We'll see if they can hold off Twisted this time around as 4 AM just beaten, battered, and bruised, but still alive and still in it, trying to fight their way in. But Chewy and I-26 just dug in so well. That is so difficult to try to dispatch with. AGAL, meanwhile, they're outside in the blue, or right on the edge right now, and they're taking a lot of damage here from Twisted.
Oh, so much damage being done to AGL. Destroying him has gone down. It's going to be rough. It's going to be difficult, maybe even impossible for them to get in. Delvin bleeds out. Setsuna gets the point for Shadow Esports. As the leaderboard does light up quite a bit here. 3 teams on the top is alive, but look at that.
Twisted Minds just exerting pressure across the entire lobby right now from the last bit of high ground. 600 something damage there, for example. No kills just yet, but Twisted 6 on the board for the team. As 4 AM trying to regroup and see if they can maybe take this fight against Petrichor Road, and it's going to be a little bit easier now that AGAL has been eliminated.
Liquid might get a lot of points away from this game here. Hello, my bad fans. Shin here. Setsuna finds Songjang. We're down to just 6 teams now as 4AM is eliminated. Hello, my bad. And Vitality is able to defend this off with Getrox as well being alive inside this circle.
What a hold, Vitality. Down to 2. They took the quote-unquote bait ditch earlier. Perfectix just solo pushing Teddy, and he's going to go down, but the trade come through. No, Teddy will get 2, and now Twisted Mind's in a little bit of trouble. Teddy holds the line, but goes down in the end to Team Liquid. Shadow Esports down to just Kamal's, but the damage has been done. All the teams that were coming from the west have been broken apart, and now all of a sudden it's a 2v2, v1v1, unless Shadow can get both of these revives off.
Oh my God, what a way for Shadow to get that. Teddy made everything possible, and they could third party that fight between Twisted Minds and him. And look at this next circle here. Does go off the road here. Liquid's gonna have to make moves. Petrichor Road is gonna have to make moves. And Shadow, a gift from the gods. Their compound is still inside.
And they are able to just fully reset. Vitality not in a position to where they could capitalize off of those 2 knocks. They just have great position. There's no reason for them to push just yet. We'll see what Petrichor Road decides to do. Chewy and I-26 really, I think this might be just a game of chicken between themselves and Luke 12 to see who has to move first.
Yeah, surely it's just, you know, Luke dying out when he has to run from this one here. It's difficult to make anything work without vehicles, without cover. Yeah, Petrichor Road about to be having a fight with Vitality. This could just be a straight up gift to Shadow Esports. Perfect third-party opportunity from them. It looked like Twisted Minds had it in the bag, but Teddy denied everything from R8. Finally some points for them. 4 points overall, and now AGAL, one of the favorites in last place.
Like it might have been a rare misstep from Twisted Minds, maybe just not
smart
keeping track of R8 and not knowing that he was there, because he saw Perfectix just solo push into the building like there was nobody in there, and that is not something you see very often.
And first rule is you should never go in solo in a house you've not cleared together. Sure, you have confidence, but you need to go in together to be able to refrag so you don't lose players like that. Twisted Minds made exactly that mistake, unfortunately.
Pay the price for it. Now Team Vitality on the hold here against Petrichor Road. They've managed to find a little bit of a foothold with the high ground. They still got grenades left, and they're going to drop them right on top of Halo My Bad, but it's not going to land. Those grenades, you have to hit those if you're Petrichor Road, and that's going to take down I-26. The smoke walls are going down quickly. He's going to try to go for the res. We'll see if Vitality lets him.
That's difficult. Oh, Getrox might even be stuck under the car. It exploded straight onto him. He was stuck down in a hole.
Oh, no.
He can't even get out.
He's stuck, yeah.
The car slid onto the top of him here. Him being able to be alive is a miracle.
Really unfortunate there for Vitality, but I don't even think they have any utility left to throw over at Petrichor Road. But Petrichor does have utility of their own to send down, and so does Shadow, who are taking the opportunity to take the center of the circle, and now they're trying to collect some more points. They will finish off Petrichor Road. Vitality secures second place, but will go down in the end, and Shadow Esports, the relative unknowns, come in and get the massive win in match number 3.
What a way for them to defend that compound. Third-party Twisted Minds take down Teddy and then take the chicken dinner here. Shadow Esports. What a way to do it. 9 points going into this. Levanza just laughing. What are you going to do here? They're able to get way more points than you actually expected for them, considering that they sent it that deep into the circle, found some holes, dug out, and put pressure onto Petrichor Road.
It was always going to be a tough game for Vitality once those circles kind of pulled away. They're fighting them from away from the south and just set it, and they should be. What a game from Shadow. I mean, the fact that Twisted Minds basically allowed them to live right next to them without ever pushing them for a majority of that game, it felt like. And then in the end, as you said, Teddy just throwing just a wrench in the works for Twisted. It was like they didn't know he was there.
It felt like the way they set up was like, okay, as long as our part of the compound is in, we're just going to put pressure. You saw examples, tons of damage, no kills. Sure, the other guys got most of it, but still, they were able to just think, okay, let's try to stay on the roofs, try to get as many kills as we can from outside the circle, and then we're going to deal with the compound later. It felt like an easy plan, but the way it got executed was just not the way to do it for Twisted Mind. Still, sure, they got points. They are so far ahead right now. They're still in the top 4. It is looking good, and we're only halfway through day 1 here. 3rd game done, Poro. What's your thoughts so far on the teams?
Oh man, I mean, Myth looked absolutely dominant in their victory. Team Liquid now putting another good game up there as well. I think they're in sole possession of first place. So Team Liquid looking pretty strong. Twisted Minds, despite not getting a win just yet, they're looking pretty strong as well. You can't discount them. I mean, they exerted so much influence over that lobby this last game just because of that high ground that they were holding.
Shadow Esports. They know that they're about to win here. So excited.
Vamos.
That's massive, man. You can't help but smile. You can't help but be excited for them. I mean, this is a team, let's be honest, not a lot of people had very high expectations of coming into this. They're not a known commodity, but that is a big, big win for them here in match number 3 to follow a pretty good performance in game number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Found themselves in the boatyard. Were able to set up and then take the chicken dinner here in game 3.
We love that. Well, 3 games down. We've still got 3 more left to play, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey there guys, it's Kalaris at the Esports World Cup, and we have an opportunity here to test all of our players to be able to identify some keen plays from some past tournaments. Today we're going to have Luke 12 and Cowboy joining me here. How are you boys doing? Doing okay?
Doing well, yeah.
Doing good, doing good.
How are you feeling about your chances here to figure out some of these plays?
Not good about that.
Yeah, not too good, not too good.
Not too good. All right, well, let's roll the first clip and see if they can identify a play from the past. Okay, we're on Miramar. A crash. Which teams or players may be in this clip?
Genji and T.
Ding, ding, ding. That is a correct answer straight away from Luke 12.
I know this clip, I can't remember who.
Yeah, I see the Genji logo now.
There you go, Genji and TE, the hold, 2v4. Yeah. Okay, that's 1-0. Let's move on to the next clip. Actually, I can see on the leaderboard why this might be easy to identify.
It's Twisted and...
Twisted and someone not doing well.
Genji again?
I think Genji again, almost.
I'll give you a few more seconds. You're right with one team, obviously.
Hanso's.
Arrow? I don't know.
No, I think in the end this one is Twisted versus All Gamers Global, actually. AGAL. Next one's yours, okay?
Yeah.
You've got this next one.
Oh, Team Liquid.
Wait!
I got it.
He did it!
I did it.
He did it!
All right, Luke, what happened here? You can tell it.
I think we almost throw.
Well, what's happening right there?
Some chaos.
You know what's funny?
Genji, yeah.
What player is that?
I don't know. Some bullshit's happening.
You know what's funny? Is actually, yes, of course, it is Liquid versus Genji, and it is described as Liquid BRDM Chaos versus Genji. Okay, that's amazing. Okay, let's move on to the next clip.
Team Liquid.
That's us.
Who are you shooting at? Let's see who that is. Ooh,
Bolt
look at that shot.
Who's the Bolt? It's T5.
Guys, you're amazing.
I think we're camping T5 right now.
Out of North George?
Yeah.
Purdy Headshot versus T5.
Oh, yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
There you go.
The Bolt guy.
All right, the final clip. Let's run it. Also might be quite difficult. From 2023, Game is 8.
This Pixel?
Oh, I remember this clip. Yeah, it's...
I don't know the teams. Pixel's the guy that clutched,
Pixel,
right?
Yeah,
that is correct.
I remember this.
But you don't remember who he's against?
SSG?
Nope.
No. FF?
Nope.
I have no clue.
It was E-Arena, but hey, you got Pixel. It's pixelated and you got Pixel. Guys, you did amazing. Well played, boys. I thought you were going to be doomed, but you knocked it out of the park. All right, that is our first iteration. Thank you very much, Luke. Thank you very much, Cowboy.
A team that nobody expected to do this well except one person. We were being told, don't even talk about them, don't bring him up. But Shadow Esports with the... That's right. And another top is, you were believing in this team since the beginning.
I don't know if I go that far. I will say that I said that they needed to have a good day one, because tomorrow is going to be probably the worst day of their competitive career, because they have to go up against 17 for a bunch of drops. So they need to have a good day today, and my goodness, they sure did. Now, that was handed to them on a silver platter, the way that end game sort of played out, but I'm not going to disrespect it. A win is a win. It doesn't matter if it's an inch or a mile.
Look, we've seen a lot of teams with the same position who should have won not win, right? Not take the advantage and push that envelope forward. So the fact that they were able to get the win is great. Also, Setsuna, just great round from him, really coming in the clutch right at the end with a couple kills. You know, maybe one or two, who knows?
Especially when we talk about that finish. I know Godspeed, when we were watching, it's like, man, that is one of the toughest finishes for a lot of the squads.
Yeah, so that circle, there's a few circles in Miramar are just horrible to play. That specific one around that compound south of water treatment is one of those, because if you're not already set up in the zone, especially where you saw teams like Twisted already trying to get set up, it's a crapshoot, right? How many times have we seen that Death Valley Road kind of just become a problem for the teams? And as you can see, it was not a problem for Shadow, though. They were able to kind of put themselves in that compound that I'm talking about, and that's exactly why they were able to weather the storm and get that first place finish with 19 points, 9 kills. That's impressive.
And Team Liquid being able to bounce back in this one after Myth ended up just destroying them. You know what? We're just going to go with absolutely destroying them. Good performance out of this squad there with 11.7 coming in from kills. Now, Lace, I know you're looking at one team specifically, and it's none other than Full Sense, because right now they're not having one of the hottest starts. Very inconsistent.
Yeah, let's have a little conversation about them. For, you know, a defending world champ, we ain't seeing very champion-like team, but, you know, being in that sort of middle of the rank on the leaderboard, but I'm seeing a very slow decline. And like with a player like, you know, Belmont on there, I just don't know how they're sort of going to bring this back. And, you know, they came from a first, I think, in the PUBG Thailand series. So I guess their sort of competitor at the moment is like the likes of Myth, where they're doing exceptionally well. But yeah, Full Sense, they're in a little bit of a sticky conversation, we'd say, and we're not sort of seeing any good truth from them.
If we learned anything about Full Sense at PGC, it's that they're exclusively a finals team. So here in the group stages, we don't really know how they play, and I think they are being caught off guard. Now, they did well in the Thailand series, but my pick for that, and the reason they did that, is I think it's a little bit weaker as a larger group, but more importantly, it's an aggressive style of play over there that I don't know that it translates as quickly to the international.
It's an APAC thing.
It is.
It happens in multiple games. I don't know what's going on in my region, guys, but we're just full send, but sometimes it don't work.
I mean, but that's literally what built APAC, right? When we talk about, you know, the slump 2-3 years ago when they weren't that great, that was still always their style. You look at teams of the past like Day Trade, right? They were so fun to watch because they would just send it in, but they would die. And we're kind of seeing a little bit of a throwback to that, which I'm not really a big fan of, because when they were servers before AJAL, you have him as some of the best players in the world. At one point, he was the best player in the world. The trend of going backwards is not what we want to see from these guys.
And something that ended up helping out some of the squads there that were in the middle of the pack is that I believe from first place to 6th place in Circle 6, we only had 2 squads alive. Only 2 teams, which kind of allows some of the other teams to catch up, especially with the dominance that we were seeing earlier on out of Myth. One of those squads being Vitality as well.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Vitality goes, and I'll turn that over to you to talk about in a second. I do want to say that you can't hold this circle against anybody, though. As you brought up, this was a nothing burger of a circle, right? Yeah. And some teams had to try to find to make a feast out of it. I know Vitality tried, and others came through with a little bit of a better position.
I mean, I was just going to touch on our joke that we had. I think they may have heard us because we were talking a little bit of smack about Team Vitality being down the bottom there, but honestly, I think that kind of pulled in their favor. Do I think it's down to skill and... No, I think it was a bit of luck. I stared into the camera and said that one. I'm so sorry.
Toughies, you mentioned burger earlier, man. Come on, I'm over here gonna get hungry because I know somebody that's currently hungry for a lot of kills is none other than Luke 12. My goodness, his performance today, Godspeed. We saw him earlier on with the mortar, but now backing it up, it doesn't matter what he uses. He's just performing today.
Look, when Luke 12 first joined the STK standouts, right? Steve, you know this. He was arguably, in fact, I don't even say arguably, he probably was the best player on that team. We saw him clutch. He was the reason that Purdy was able to finally win his first regional title. And so because of that, Luke has always been such a staple and such a such a performer on this team. Over the last 2 years, I don't want to say he slipped, but he definitely hasn't been that top performer we've seen or that we're used to. However, seeing this performance so far today, it's been wonderful to watch because Luke has always been a powerhouse on that squad.
The spark is back.
Yes.
Okay, the spark left and brought back the spark, if you understand what I'm saying. And it seems to work well.
Brazilian.
Well, but I'm saying, see, you know, I think the change in the squad gave a little fresh air there. But you got to remember, like Alo, Purdy, and Luke have been playing together for we had like
Decades.
7-8 years at this point.
Decades.
So they have that chemistry, they have that system, and when it works, it works. The thing I love about what they did is they got caught on that rotation trying to go over to the left side from the top. They lost 2 players and they turned back, hunkered down, held their position, and salvaged, I think it was 4 or 5 points out of that recovery. And that's what the difference is between winning and losing these events.
I also have to say, that roster, you talk about the core 3, but when Sparking had joined that team, everyone was so excited and he was so dang talented. But Cowboy, I think, has been a wonderful addition, has really been stepping up in that roster as well. So I want to give a big shout out to Cowboy and his performances.
And he needs a haircut. You might see that.
Okay, I'm not saying all that.
He said it to me. He's like, where is the barber? And I said, I'm pretty sure there's one at EWC, don't worry.
There is one, actually. I ended up using it, so hopefully it looks okay.
Okay, well, there you go.
Well, I'll let him know exactly where it's at. Maybe we'll have Kalaris catch up with him and talk about that hairstyle that he currently has. But for some of the other squads, I mean, we got to look at the bottom, too. This is the halfway point. We have AGAL there towards the end, too. This squad is going to have to step it up in a big way. You know what? We'll actually get a chance to talk about some of these other squads later on. But for right now, I'm hearing that we got something going on in the stage with Barney and Luti.
It's called the City of Love. Yeah. But you guys put garlic in everything. You must go through breath mints like crazy.
You know what, Bunny? What I wonder about London, it's called the Big Smokes, and you all have bad teeth.
Yo, okay. Well, snails are gross.
I know, but British food is like testing of nothing.
Yeah, that's fair.
You suck at football!
Yeah, that is fair. Yeah. Truce?
Okay.
Okay, so we're about to go into match number 4. We need to rethink our strategy. What's our approach?
I think we just find a pickaxe, and we dig a hole, and we stay in it.
That's a good idea. Or we could get a third person's perspective on this next one. Casters, over to you.
I saw what you did.
Thank you so much, guys. It is going to be Matchup and Paper Thin reunited, and it feels so good, my man.
So good, my friend. I am so happy to be back. It is going to be awesome. Been having a ton of fun watching the games. You know, not as much fun joining, James on the stage just because it's James. But other than that, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, we both got to go hang out with James for just a second. We're getting a pretty interesting situation going on with Shadow having to come up here at the end. Big shout out to Setsuna. Of course, just a magnificent performance. And we just got to see them step up and him step up for his team whenever we looked at the ENC qualifiers. They got into that 4th place cusp position and barely managed to qualify for the main stage. So it has been just a good couple of weeks for Setsuna.
For sure, and he was also at PNC representing Indonesia just not too long ago. A very, very good player in his own right, really showcasing what he can do, given a little bit of space and opportunity. Very impressive the way he's able to lock down that compound and keep some really good teams out. They struggled with it in that first game. We highlighted it quite a bit that they couldn't hold Myth out, but there on that Miramar, no problems, and they come through with a big, big win. But over to Rondo we go next, Matt, and this one, playing path looks pretty fair, pretty much down the middle, almost a little southerly shifted.
Yeah, but we keep getting these hints of Jijina City here lately. We haven't gone Jijina City yet, but we just keep going on that eastern side. I would love to see if maybe we can get a Jijina City some point in the future, but
we got a Boyard.
Team Liquid off of a good salvage in that last game is just being really consistent. We started the day kind of talking a little bit of trash about him. If it takes talking trash about Team Liquid for them to perform like this, consider me a #1 Team Liquid hater.
All right, go ahead. Speak your piece, my friend. I'll let you wrap. I might need to start going off a little bit about the Korean teams then, because they have been not doing so hot here today. GK and the Supers have been just a little bit kind of underperforming, I'd say.
I mean, it's day 1 Supers. I kind of consider that to be kind of how they start. It's always a slow roll. Circle does pop a bit off that river coming out of Jadina City over to the west of it, so that is going to be Full Sense, who also just had a little bit of trash thrown their way by the desk. Now they're going to find themselves centered in a very open circle, so this is going to be a really intriguing situation for them and how they're going to handle it. Myth going to be pretty close to this, but let's go ahead, and I think that we've got a little thing that we're going to check out here.
Yeah, I think we got a little bit of an interview that we want to hear from 4 a.m. soon. I promise.
When does it happen?
Eventually. Oh, I see what you did. Oh, how did I miss that? That was good. Well done, my
龙都
friend.
我最喜欢跳的是地图中心的车站，然后因为也是跟沙漠是雷同的嘛，然后地图圈中心，然后物资肥，然后肉点的人也多。
All right, Winda. 4 Angry Men, not a terrible day, not a great day, not a good day, but this is a squad I came in with a lot more expectations. Spaceman's been popping off, Shin kind of coming into the squad, having a lot of success, but Winda has been the guy so far whenever we've been looking at this, most notably today. 12 points on the day for 4 Angry Men is going to make for a lot more angry fans.
Yeah, I mean, they're a team that we know can pop off. We've seen it this year. I mean, we've seen what Shen can do. He is outrageously good when he's at his best. So having the players behind him, like the caliber of Spaceman, who we've also seen be really, really good in the past, with Wenda, if he could keep performing at that level where he can bring in 2-3 kills for you, that's huge. Like, that's going to open so many doors for a 4AM team that should be really frag heavy. And we'll see if they can just kind of continue that momentum. They're going to have a pretty nice look at it, of course, starting from the Neox factory. So they're going to be a little bit more central circle early.
Oh, Tigger, you've got some Petrichor Road friends hanging out. We've been talking a lot about 4 Angry Men, but Petrichor Road's been having a quietly consistent day. Now they're going to find themselves a bit of a split right next to Tigger over here, pretty close to the center of the circle. We still have 2 players for Petrichor Road making a rotate, while Example for Twisted looks like he's going to be trying to claim some territory. So Example might take a couple of pot shots. But with this big, wide split coming up from Full Sense, Tigger's pretty isolated, and I don't know if he has any idea that this is coming.
Yeah, something felt amiss for him for sure. It feels like he at least had some kind of sound cues that people were close, and now he definitely knows. Yeah, now he definitely knows. But the way he was playing it so cautiously really led me to believe that something was amiss for sure. And he is just going to try to get on out of there. Maybe a little bit of a rescue mission here from Tanadol, trying to loop his way back in. And it looks like this should be successful. You've got a little bit of covering fire. This is a nice little setup for Full Sense.
Yeah, there's also a couple of hillsides that you can retreat away from. The timing on it's pretty good. Gamma is going to be getting to a hillside cluster just to the east of this in a little while, but it's not going to be a problem yet. They should be able to regroup just fine. That means the Petrichor Road gets control over the center of the circle. To the east of them is going to be R8. To the northeast of that is going to be where 4 Angry Men are going to be playing. And remember, that river does cut in around that area where R8 as well as 4 Angry Men are. While Twisted is getting more and more separation and control towards the center of the circle, that does kind of put them on opposite sides of 4 Angry Men.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of the expected split there between Twisted and 4AM, given how they split the test track and the Neox factory. We didn't see anything in terms of a battle in the early part of the game. So Twisted, I mean, you got to give Twisted a ton of credit here. 29 points already today. You know, unfortunately not being able to have Lou come in the tab, a very good player, no doubt, as a coach, able to step through and help do some serious damage. But, you know, the 3 main players that are still here are very, very good, of course, as well. And these guys just continue to thrive no matter the situation.
Vitality on a little bit of an adventure here. Winda's going to be on the other side, and that was so easy. Gedrock's going to go down. Easy point for 4 Angry Men is Vitality, who have been kind of looming around in these later stages. Now presently in 6th place, going to have an early out for one of their players, and going to make it a little bit more complicated on the rotate because the rest of Vitality is going to be tail-inning, just coming into the circle to the east of where 4 Angry Men are going to be at.
Yeah, this feels like 4AM offering up a little bit of a different look to what maybe you had seen in the past from them on similar circles, because Vitality pretty confident to just send a player up on top of this roof, assuming that it would be safe. But 4AM this time actually leaves a bunch of players back, and they're going to profit for it. So that feels like a move that could be just related to trying to do something different than what you've shown your opponents previously.
We do also have an emergency pickup that has been called. It looks like it is going to be anyone's legend taking that with 2 of their players. Dylan already going to be approaching the circle. Himmouse going to be playing back behind that one. Try to jump over the EMP. Vitality is going to have tons of information. Remember, they just lost their player up on top, so trying to see if they can get eyes on Winda, but he's not providing too much of an easy target. Instead, it's going to be a couple more shots coming from range, making it a little bit more complicated, but Winda should be fine as that emergency pickup is called. Teams that are not yet inside the circle, Nemesis is just now touching it. Supers is just crossed in, but Team Liquid as well as Tyloo down to the southwest, they still have a little bit more of pathing to go, while Myth is also just entered the circle.
And it looks like Tyloo's going to go for an emergency pickup as well, so they've got a few options to get into this next circle, maybe try to time it with the phase 2 pop, it looks like. Full sense, again, that early rescue mission, keeping them out of the clutches of Petrichor Road. Tenadol is the Dragunov and just doing a little bit of peeking around, seeing what's going up in the air. Of course, Rondo, you're going to have some aerial threats that you're going to have to maybe worry about. Twisted, going to be seeing the supers drive by.
This should be okay. There should be enough hillsides. Super should be able to get away from it, but good job on Twisted to control this territory. Just to the southwest of where they're going to be playing at is going to be where Shadow is. But it looks like Supers don't have too many other options, so they're going to have to send it opposite side of where Petrichor Road is playing. If they can get through this stage of the gauntlet, there is at least going to be some open terrain before they get to full sense in that VP territory. But there's not going to be a lot to play over here. A couple of hills, I think there's a couple of shacks, and yeah, okay, a couple of rocks too.
Rex is fine, able to hang on there with a little bit of a love tap from his teammates. As let's see how they want to split this up. Supers looking like they're trying to figure out exactly what they can, work with here in this situation.
It's one of those moments where you realize, why isn't nobody playing the center of the circle? Oh, this is the center of the circle. Nobody really likes it here. So, I mean, yes, they can dig down, they can do some stuff, but I just get so nervous in this section of the map for mortars. Especially if you're playing this the way that Supers are playing it, there's going to be so many mortars just watching around the outside of it, as it is going to be anyone's legend, as well as GK kind of bumping into each other. Dylan's going to spell a con, gets flush on.
Yeah, they had taken a little bit of this high ground position earlier, so they're going to profit from that. GK thought maybe they could do a safe rotation there, but AGAL sets up a little bit of a trap, and Delwyn comes through with the big kill early. Second circle is going to go a little bit southeast, but it's going to cut out most of the river that goes from Jadena City over towards the left. So it's a lot of different options in play.
Okay, GK looks like they're wrapping back over, but here you go. Supers, with so few places to play, just sends it right into the territory where Full Sense has got control. Shadow's going to be on the other side of this. There's just not enough space inside this circle as we move closer to Tooling. Means that we've got a lot of hillsides, way more cover, less barren circle. But that means that there's going to be a lot of teams just trying to force their way in. Tyloo on top of Team Liquid to the south. Anyone's Legend's going to have to be roaming right in behind GK. But it is just a full cluster up here to the north as Shadow is going to at least sneak by. But on the other side of this is going to be Twisted, as well as R8 and just to the south of it, of course, Petrichor Road.
Yeah, things are getting really clustered. A lot of teams feel like they need to get in here in Adantong, and it is, of course, one of the few areas that's safe. Like you were talking about, a lot of wide open stuff that's not so good. Example, will take down I2 6v6. And you're looking at them continuing to put pressure through here. Love to see them play with the confidence. That's a good grenade towards Ming Ming. Doesn't catch him though. Ming Ming able to get around the side of that box quick enough. Isn't going to find any more damage. Perfecto though has to be diligent, but he's getting shot in the back. 0-4 almost takes him down. But the molly, it's Ming Ming's gun who's going to get the job done.
He's just got to run in and flush this as fast as possible. He knows he is swarmed by Twisted. Nade's going to come up all around him, and it is going to be Example that gets the knock onto Ming Ming. Twisted's going to come in, get a little bit more control over this territory. Petrichor Road looked like they wanted to go in for the res, but instantly rebuffed by a very aggressive Twisted Minds.
I love this from Twisted Minds. I mean, the circle shift not super favorable for you overall. Some teams were ahead of you in the rotation game. 0-4 is laughing a bit there. He's like, that fence normally.
I feel that. It's every single time you think you're going fast enough just to break through the fence, it never feels fast enough.
I don't believe there is such a thing. I just don't try to hit him anymore. I just gave up. There's a lot of damage being done to him. And,
everybody's going to be trying to hit him now. He managed to hit the fence and manages to survive, so just narrowly.
It is by the skin of his teeth for sure. But he will get there, and well, it's a place. It's not a safe place in the long run. Maybe he gets unaccounted for. Maybe the teams that know he's there, in particular GAM, just kind of has to deal with other stuff, and he's left to survive for a while. But that car is going to make it very obvious.
My eyes are drawn back up to the north. You can see R8 that we kind of have eyes on looking at Twisted. But Twisted trying to get their reses back in. 4 Angry Men has to go over to the east. Vitality's got to go to the west. And remember, this is the more open section of the map, so they have to make it by R8. Twisted, luckily being distracted right now, should provide a little bit more maneuverability for both these squads. Circle Pops does go to the southwest. So Perfectic's going to come right back into a very clustered circle. Oh my God, just look at everybody stacked up on top of each other in the center.
Yeah, and it's going to remain that way for at least another couple circles, it looks like, for sure. Pretty much about like 99%. That's going to be the case. Look at our 4 AM boys. They found themselves a little bit of a prize. BRDM will be getting a really nice bit of extra protection. We saw this BRDM be really impactful for Team Liquid in the previous game, where Luke was able to use that to get into the fields and survive a lot longer than you normally would in a situation like that. So looking to 4AM, maybe try to replicate that success.
Anyone's Legend just creeping in right back behind Team Liquid. Team Liquid does have Alo right on the edge of the zone, so they're just going to go ahead and let Team Liquid rotate in front of them. There is a couple of hillsides to play over here that should get you some distance away from Tai Lu, but it feels not as good as you want it to. So a little bit longer of a wrap over here into the west could find you a compound, but it's going to be right on the edge of the zone. Anyone's Legend, though, could have to deal with Nemesis that is wrapping in from the east, as the slower approach coming up from Anyone's Legend could be punished.
Oh, you're right. It is kind of their game, though. They're willing to take some fights out in the open. Curious if anything will brew. Meanwhile, Vitality trying to thwart 4AM from pushing in this direction. And maybe 4AM, even with the safety of that BRDM, feels like, oh, we should try something a little bit different here. Your biggest concern, of course, when you're in that armored vehicle is that there's just a Panzer waiting for you on one side or another. Meanwhile, teams are just going to light it up as much as they can to weaken it as much as they can for the later stages. Empty, getting a lot of damage in there. He's protected by his own vehicle. Not sure how much longer that'll last. Just wants to see how much exactly he can find.
This doesn't feel good. There's no easy approach in, but 400 Man jumps out, does get the knock and the flush on to Teddy. This BRDM is just taking a battering. It's Twisted on one side, R8 on the other, and even Levante still taking the shots on the backside of R8 does manage to connect. That's going to be easily picked up, I would imagine. Well, not easily. He's got to kind of curve it over the top of the hillside, but I don't think that R8's going to be able to chase that too efficiently. They got way too many problems in front of them.
Yeah, right now R8 is in a very precarious situation. Twisted Minds as well, starting to angle in this direction. So 4AM's BRDM looking very much not safe anymore. A little bit of damage done as they pop up over the hill. Example, retreat back to the safety of his vehicle, which has taken a bit of a pounding itself. Perfectix does have a little bit of space where he can take a moment to regroup and recover, maybe look for some new armor. Indeed, that is exactly what he's looking for.
We've got all of Nanqing that's essentially supervising this firefight that's going on between some of Vitality, 4 Angry Men, R8, and Twisted. So it is going to be Shadow as well as Full Sense. Super's mostly focused to the south as they've got Geekay that's next to him, but that's what's led to this really awkward rotate for all these guys over here, having to make more commitments in top of each other, and Levante continues to find more onto R8. This is going to be bigger and bigger for Vitality the longer it goes, because Vitality's got so much control over the west.
Yeah, and I'd like to see Twisted Minds strike right now. They should. Levante going to clean up a couple more there, and here comes Twisted Minds. They are trailing 4AM. They are trying to take them down. Shen is taking a bunch of damage, and he has in fact been knocked. And there's a ton of util still in the bags here for Twisted Minds. As we cycled through some of their players, I saw a lot still available.
Vitality had to surrender the position with Levante, so they're going to go back to their high ground where they have Quizzy at. Also still have Hello My Bad providing some supervision, but it's Twisted on the manhunt right now. They know where R8 is back behind him. They know that 4 Angry Men is weakened in front of them. Hello My Bad's going to be taking the shots right at 4 Angry Men in front of him on one side, but here comes the rest of Vitality. As 4 Angry Men has nowhere to go, they're going to have to run up this hillside, but good shots do force Hello My Bad down to his belly.
What's the escape valve here for Hello My Bad, or is he just really stuck? Is there really no hope? Just try to fight through and see if you can at least get a kill out of it. Meanwhile, that was a knock from Levante, an example. Gonna steal that one for his 4th of the match already. Twisted Minds now under pressure. It's Shadow Esports, your previous game winners, looking to see if maybe they could take down your defending EWC champions here. And Setsuna gonna take a charge at it. Perfectix able to get away.
Not gonna get much out of it, and this is gonna make for a terrible position. That rock cropping right up in front of him. Twisted's gonna wrap around the other side of it. There's no cover to be had. Setsuna in a ton of trouble. He's gonna go down. That leaves just one up, and Twisted already knows where he is. Empty on the other side of it, though. Does at least manage to get a knock onto the Tulins.
Okay, grenade dodge there by Hansi. Example, though, gonna go for the second layer. Comes up just a bit short. Hansi again making the move. The tab slides on into the smoke, seeing if maybe he could get a little lucky and find Hansi hanging out inside of there, looking for safety, but some of that terrain going to be affording him that for now. It's just a matter of can he do any more damage before he goes down, it feels like.
Twisted just racking up the kills. Eyes on that 9th one. Spots it out. Tab's going to pick it up. That is a massive kill count already for Twisted, and they have to go into the circle yet again. Can they avoid the Nanqing firing lines is the real question. They either have to wrap into that or the Levante hillside control from Vitality.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure how it'll all play out. So we have 0-4, who somehow managed to get out of that building he was stuck in. Credit where credit's due. That was not an easy spot to be in, but he is just as much in trouble. It feels like, it doesn't look like he's going to get caught by that Molotov. Fortunately for him, that'll afford him the opportunity to try to go for the first aid. Has the smoke for a little bit of cover as well. Stayed going to throw a smoke of his own. Looking to just spam through and try to get a little bit lucky, but still has a bunch of frags in the bag.
This is so throwing off Nimbus's control over the circle, too. The longer he stays out there, finally do manage to take down Petrichor Road. But now they're going to have to deal with Tyloo in front of them on one side, Myth to the north of them. Circle does them favor, though, pops away from that southern area of control, and everybody in Danqing is breathing a sigh of relief. They were terrified that they'd have to rotate away, but now here is the firing line coming up from Vitality, as Twisted still has nowhere to go to get into the circle.
Team Vitality looking to try to bolster their defenses here, so they're going to reposition Hello My Bad, who was able to regroup with the rest of the team into the front lines. And yeah, Perfectix getting absolutely lit up by Quizzy. The grenade is good from Levante. And Twisted Minds trying to regroup. Perfectix is getting away from these frags, but those follow-ups, oh, they almost got him.
I mean, Levante is just playing out of his mind right now. That solo player that he was trying to make so much control over to the north, still coming over there. Of course, the rest of the squad providing a ton of support, but it looks like Vitality's realized it's going to be hard to make this cross, because just down this hill is going to be where VP has got full gatekeeping control on it all. Quizzy's going to lead his way in, trying to see if he can get a knock on anybody in the smoke. No, it's not going to happen, but Levante does spot out example.
Well, they kind of revealed that there was nobody in the middle of these smokes, and so they're trying to now figure out if they can get anything else done. The tab's gonna pop through, and he's looking for the player, and he's gonna get him! Levante down. Rex, though, actually gets the knock, and Perfectix taking down Hello My Bad. Perfectix the only one left now for Twisted.
All right, so Perfectix, you get to run next to VP, who's fully stacked. You've got Supers, as well as Geekay, just even touched the circle. This is going to be brutal. Down to the south, it is explosions galore. Nemesis is eliminated. Anyone's Lanagen manages to find their way into the circle. Now Team Liquid, the odd squad out, trying to figure out how they're going to get in, while there is a focus of mortars right on top of Tyloo.
Yeah, this is Tanvu. Oh, almost gets the knock there, or the flush, excuse me, onto Hausker. Just coming up a little bit off. Another one. Does he have any more available there?
Oh, look at this cross. We've got Anyone's Legend defending one side. Team Liquid with nowhere to go. VP doing a great job in the defensive territory. Mortar still raining down right on top of Tyloo, but Team Liquid, they don't have anywhere to go, so they send right into it. They're on the hunt for kills. Jump out and trying to find what's going on, but oh no, Lee on the outside, big nade.
That was huge, and this is a good timing from Liquid, but Lee was unaccounted for on the outside. AGAL as well looking at his VPs angling into this fight too.
Okay, Solozzi with one side, Delwyn on the other. VP putting themselves in the crossfire to go for the kills. Nades rolling down right on top of Team Liquid. Can they weather the storm of VP? And they are doing just enough to stay alive. That stalled out VP, but VP's now turned their focus looking into Anyone's Legend.
I mean, it's just a timing thing right now, and there's enough protection for Virtus Pro that they can rain damage and grenades down into some of these other teams. Look at what they've created for themselves with this little valley that they have on top of this hill. That's going to be Purdy Curdy going down to Nixie's grenade. Himas is backpedaling because he's realized he has stepped out into Virtus Pro's firing line, and he is in trouble.
Oh, there is nowhere to go. Everybody's gotten too entangled over here, but VP has more space to work with. The circle's popped, and it's moved away, gone a little bit further over to the northeast. So Anyone's Legend can try to step away, but it's such a barren circle. There's nowhere to really go. Anyone's Legend knows that they're going to be walking into a potential crossfire that has now been set up by Myth, who's got some of their players in Danqing, but has Scappy all the way over in the due east.
And I'm also looking at the Supers to try to make their way out from that very northern side. Gam losing players left and right. Clory's trying to scramble in there to see what he can do about maybe rezzing Tanvu. Hong F keeping Baron pinned down. Perrin does get the flush onto Duck Juice, so that's one player out of the equation for Gam. That blue zone, I don't know if that gets anybody. Luke 12 just got a double on the backside.
Myth has to be so focused over here. We've got Myth on one side, Geekay on the other. Danqing has been abandoned by the circle, so that means that Supers as well as Full Sense have to fight their way in. And we still have this long standoff down here to the south with those nades that you're talking about. VP trying to crawl their way forward, but Luke 12 has done enough to defend. Is Anyone's Legend going to try to pounce on this?
That's a great question, and I think this is a perfect opportunity. Luke here might have spelled the demise of Virtus Pro. Nixie looking to stick the revive. Looks like he will get it onto Corexi. They're safe for now. Clory's fighting tooth and nail to stay alive. He did take down Tanadol. Oh, Flash still alive, but very beat up.
Himas has just abandoned that firefight. He's sending it into the circle. So there's going to be now somebody taking peppering shots, maybe on the other side of Myth. They've got to be careful. Scappy has gone down. That's open more territory. So suddenly Gam, who is fighting from the back foot, has some assistance from the circle itself, and Myth can't keep control over this angle. Gam's trying to fight their way in.
They're doing their best. They are holding on by a thread right now. The grenade, though, is perfect. Jacob nails it. Clory's out of the equation. And now you're looking at Myth afforded an opportunity here to go for some revives.
Double res, full abandonment of control. They just need to get their players back up and ready to go. Full Sense has now made a push more over into the west, as it is going to be Supers right on top of DK, and Supers just can't find a way to get through this. Finally, at least gets one knock, but they have taken so many casualties on this push.
Yeah, they're not exactly sure where the players are, and they're trying to fish through the smokes to see what they can find, but right now, DK not offering up much. I mean, Park Pro even has a JS9 here ready to go. Oh, Heaven trying to run through. He's getting lit up as he tries to do so. Going to be forwarded back and stalled out. Rex, no opportunity for that Panzer to strike just yet, and Human out of the game.
Full Sense, other side of this, waiting to see if they can jump in. Dancing around the outside. Rex does get spotted. Songjon pops off the moment that he is needed. Any idea what's going on around smokes? Big explosion. The Supers are eliminated, but now it is just Songjon, the last one up, and Full Sense is on the full push.
Now, what a play there from Songjon to use that C4. Won that fight for himself in what could have been a much more dangerous situation where maybe he goes down and it's Super still with the player up. Instead, Full Sense gonna try to see if they can claim his point, but Songjon, not an easy task. He's gonna go over to an AUG, it looks like, but Belmont has a Groza in this situation. Level 3 gear, that is so scary, even though Songjon has some level 3 gear of his own. So in terms of that, but he's, as soon as he goes out into that blue, Virtus Pro is like, we know you want those.
Yeah, nobody down to the south can move. Myth has gotten control over all angles of approach. So VP, Anyone's Legend, last player for Tyloo and Lee, they're all just trapped over there. Even Songjon across the circle entirely. No way that he can step out of it. It's just going to be the firing line set up from Myth, and everybody that's trying to get into the circle, hoping that maybe Gam gets a good angle onto Myth.
As for Songjon here, you're almost hoping that Virtus Pro is forced into a bad position so they can't third party this fight, and you're at least given the fair 1v2. Gonna use the smoke just to make sure that angle is cut off from his right-hand side. Waiting with the stuns, throws one out. A Full Sense not really bothered by that, and Songjon looking to see if he's found the timing, and he's found a dip.
That is so well played. Realizes the moment whenever VP has to go, but VP is just going to send it right into the circle. That's going to put them in a crossfire by everyone. Myth was taking shots. Anyone's Legend, even Lee looked like he was trying to get involved in that. And suddenly now, VP, where do you go? It's just Beamy out next to the blue.
Yeah, Beamy, an expert salvager. Just seeing if there's any more scrap available in this game. Clory's. Yeah, that's. Oh my God, Clory's. That's so good. He's got a blue zone to follow up here, too. That's the last of the damaging utility, and it looks like that he had, but Hwang F still had a little bit. Baron trying to get up there and thwart him, but he can't.
There's nowhere to go. Myth has drawn so much aggro from taking shots at everybody for so long. It is going to be Clory's up on top of this. Spots goes for the peek around side. He does go down. And that is going to be Gam Esports eliminated, but Myth has taken massive casualties. Anyone's Legends making the push in from the south.
A Myth, an opportunity to really assert their dominance on this lobby. And you would think basically guarantee themselves a spot into that finals. I'm pretty sure they're already almost there. Lee trying to wait things out, trying to hide here from AGAL. Too bad, so sad. Delwyn gets the eyes and gets the prize.
Creeps forward, 10 kills, finding a big game. It's been pretty quiet from these guys so far, so how much more can you get out of it? AGAL not going to necessarily get too much more of the control of the circle, but they do have a mortar and they know where everybody is. Flash still being a distraction on the other side for Myth. That's going to be their focal point, and that could allow AGAL to have something happen here.
Gotta wonder if everybody else watching this game is hoping that AGL falters so they don't get further into the tournament, potentially try to keep them out of that grand finals if possible, but a tough team to keep down, no doubt about it, especially when you've got players like Himas, like Solalzi, big brains like Delwyn in the team doing work, and that mortar almost gets Flash.
That's all that really has to happen, though. He's just trying to survive for long enough, and that is going to go to AGAL. So another kill in the bag as they continue to stack it up. Twisted had a massive game with 12 kills, but how much more can anyone's legend get on the other side of it? Myth at the top of the leaderboard right now at 44 points. They've got control over the northern section of the circle and did just get the knock onto Delwyn. What more can they find?
It's a good question. They've at least temporarily made it a 3v3, and a headshot on to Destroy forces him back behind the cover to see if he can get a heal off. Oh, just a bit too far there with the mortars. So right now, AGAL not going to be able to recover their captain.
At least the focus on trying to get down anything going with Delwyn, get that flush, has allowed Destroy to get closer, but as he's starting to try to just get into the circle, a couple of shots are coming his way. AGAL is pretty trapped over onto point. Myth has got that little bit of a lip coming into the road, and they just keep peeking right underneath of, I guess, what is it, the railings that are over there?
Yep.
That is such a brutal angle to try to hit. You have to be so exact, but we know AGAL can play that way.
For sure. This can come down to a situation where, you know, AGAL's players just hit some really nice shots, or maybe Myth kind of overextends a little bit. Right now, you're absolutely right. Myth definitely has a favorable position compared to their opponents, but as the circle begins to close in phase 9, that can change the dynamic of a fight rather quickly. AGAL, still a couple vehicles there. Not sure if there's any more mortars left in any of the trunks or anything like that, but smoke's going to have to be deployed here by AGAL to try to survive this.
I mean, there's a bit of a lip that they can try to get to that's just on the other side of the road, but you can see that Myth has got so much control, just denying anything over there. It's just more to the northwest is the weakest angle of defense that Myth has got set up. So Sololzi's going to try to use that little bit of a ridge to creep forward a bit more, finding something. Looks like Himas going to hop in a vehicle, try to do the same thing. They're not going for a lot. They're just trying to get enough to get some angles on the other side of it. Looks like Kiss trying to go for a counter move on it. Does move across the road. Scabby trying to get nade range. They're starting to come out both sides. That nade's going to get some damage, but doesn't get a knock.
Ooh, that grenade, oh, that was almost a really good one. You will at least destroy the vehicle of Myth there, so you're keeping a pin if this grenade hits. Oh, the car blocked it.
I've never seen that happen before. Myth was about to be in so much trouble. That was cooked so well. Anyone's legend just trying to creep forward, but Scappy on the defense has to keep an eye up. Sololzi's going to go down, but Himas finds one.
Himas trying to get through here, throws a stun ahead. They didn't know he was coming from that angle. Kiss takes a couple down, but Himas in response isn't going to be able to hang on, and Myth is going to take the game.
Big game from Myth, so cleanly played, but Himas right there at the end, taking it down into a 1v1.
Woo! That was fun. That was a lot of fun. That last fight was on a knife's edge between those two teams. Could have gone either way, it felt like.
Oh, that's why I love PUBG International play. So much technical movement that's going on, realizing the fact that some situations are just bad. And remember, we had Twisted dead for what? 3-4 circles at that point, and how many kills they find? 12? That is an absolutely nutty game from them.
A brilliant game. I mean, understanding that they still need to maintain that aggression, keep those points, you know, see if there's any way that they can get Lou back into the mix. If they're playing like this with that kind of confidence, just imagine what this team can do at full strength.
Oh, where do you even want to dive into it? I mean, AGAL coming alive down in that lower section, finding so much. This is why so many people have such big expectations of him. He's just such a great player, but it feels like sometimes it's just so inconsistent, man. If he could find a way to consistently get like these 3 or 4 kills every single game, he would just be so hard to handle.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get a quick listen in there. Just a little nice. Yeah, I mean, Himas and Kiss, two of the best players we have in the world right now.
Yeah, and I mean, going back in the days whenever they were still under Forest and everything else like that, Kiss just, he can make some magic happen for himself. They know how to play, get into good positions to play around. And a squad that I was thinking that was going to be like a bit more dominant today was VP, who just can't seem to find a path into the circle due to defensive lines that are being set up by squads like Myth and the way that they control that circle.
Yeah, it is a bit surprising. I was really encouraged by that first game we saw from VP, but since then, they haven't really been able to kind of muster much. So let's see if they can start to bounce back a little bit in these last couple games. We got 2 more to go today.
Oh man, it has been absolutely crazy through all of this, and see kind of what's happening off that last round. Myth, of course, with a big game, 19 points. Anyone's legend back behind that with a 17, but Twisted Minds not even touching placement. Just off of kills are going to be in 3rd place.
Oh, that's incredible, dude. That team just never ceases to amaze. Every time you come to an event and Twisted is there, you know they are going to be a force to be reckoned with. GK getting some points, Gam, Full Sense having some okay point accrue, ability to accrue points in there. Super still kind of weird.
Well, we've been talking a lot about what's going on with Twisted and everything else, so let's go ahead. I think that Barney's got himself Batulins down on stage.
That's right, we are here on the main stage with Batulins here from Twisted Minds. An impressive day so far. I've got to say, let's quickly touch base on Toffees. Had a chat with you earlier today to discuss your kind of team alterations coming into today. Give us an update from your perspective.
So we have been informed just before the tournament started that we have to play with the coach because our player is not here because of visa, and coach didn't play for like 3-4 years, I don't know how many years, and feel like he still managed to know how to play the game, right? Because it feels like we actually play pretty well. I hope we're gonna do better and better like every game. But I'm really happy. I'm really happy. We didn't expect anything from today, and like we are kind of good. So yep.
You should be happy, man. Let's talk a little bit in a bit more detail about those games, right? You've had 2 top 5 finishes in the first 4 games. Talking about that 4th game, the one that you just played, look, you're on the edge of zone. It's a really difficult scenario. You're not really going to be able to get into the center. So from your perspective, is it just, let's try and just farm as many kills until we go down? Because it kind of feels inevitable at this point, and you managed to get 12 kills.
Yeah, I would say that this game was a classic Twisted Minds from like FPP era. Like we literally like saw the circle. We knew we're not gonna get there anyhow. So we just decided to farm everyone, and we did very successfully. So I'm just very happy with what we have done.
No, it's been pretty impressive to see so far. Like you said, the expectations might have been slightly lowered because of your situation, but you guys are making the best of it. Finally, before I let you go, let's talk about your experience, your history as a team. I kind of looked into it. You and Lou and Perfectus have been playing with each other since 2019. What's the secret? What is the secret to maintaining this level of consistency over such a long period of time?
Well, you know, like, it just, like, hardworking people found each other, and we had the same goal for like the whole life. I mean, it already feels like a life, you know. Yeah, we just managed to work and work and work, and I guess some good results helped us to stay together. Yeah, and just the same mindset. We keep staying together, and we keep playing good, you see. So yeah, that's how it is. I don't know, like it's not often, right, in esports when team stay together for such a long time, but we do so, and I'm happy that I'm in this team.
Well, we love to see it, my friend. And you know what? You've done so well so far. It's only day 1. There's so much more to play, but at the same time, it's incredible to see what you guys have managed to pull out of the bag in day 1, especially in your current situation. That's Batulins from Twisted Minds. We've got so much more PUBG action coming your way right after this.
Was built to move. Not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours a day. It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you, gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.
Hey, Kalaris in the crowd here for EWC 2026, day number 1 for PUBG. Of course, you guys can be involved with everything that's going on as well with the EWC app that is currently being played out. You can kind of pick who you think is going to be winning the next games coming on up. I'm with Andy here in the crowd. Hey, Andy. Hey. How are you doing, man, so far?
Yeah, really enjoying the games. It's really an immersive atmosphere. I'm really enjoying it, yeah.
Awesome stuff. So I want to know from you, let's go for today, right? Who you think is going to do well so far? You've seen a few games here and there. So what's been your thoughts about some of the teams that have performed so far, as well as who you're rooting for?
I've been really impressed with Myth. They've been taking like really aggressive fights, third part in a lot of fights, and they're climbing up the leaderboard, so I've been really impressed with them. And I'm hoping to see VP do a little bit better. Apart from Falcons, obviously they're tomorrow, so VP, I'd like to see VP do a little bit better today, yeah.
Absolutely. Have you watched a lot of kind of the VP wins from before? Obviously they looked really good at some of the PGSs, not so good at some of the other ones.
Yeah, they were dominating some of the PGSs. Obviously since the roster changes, so yeah, I've been really impressed with what they've been doing, so they need to step it up today.
Yes, they do. All right, well, hey, thank you very much for joining me here, Andy. That's been us here. Make sure to check out the EWC Play apps to get your predictions in, just like Andy has. Myth leading to here were phenomenal. They were spectacular. Not only the two-time PGS now champions, but also one of the most dominant results of all time. They are so good right now that if they can continue that on here at this Esports World Cup, everybody else should be scared.
ผมรู้สึกว่าตอนแรกไม่คิดว่าจะได้แชมป์แต่ก็รู้สึกพอได้แชมป์ก็ดีใจและรู้สึกภูมิใจทีมทุกคนมากๆที่เชื่อใจกันและกันแล้วก็คว้าแชมป์มาได้ครับแค่รู้สึกว่าเล่นให้มันสนุกก็พอแล้วพอเราได้เป็นแชมป์เนี่ยรู้สึกว่าภูมิใจในทีมแล้วก็รู้สึกดีใจครับแล้วก็สนุกมากๆครับสำหรับรายการ PGS
I think Myth is really good at finding areas that aren't as like defendable, and they find info really well, and they find the kink in the armor, if you want to say, and they exploit that really easily, and they end up getting a lot more space because of that, and I think that worked really well for them in those tournaments.
Myth are very good. They've adapted super well to the new playstyle, the destructible terrain, the new fast zones. They've been extremely good. I think they're very aggressive and they like to set up in front of everybody. So they get dug in, they get into really good spots, and then if they don't have a good circle, they just get any advantage they can and then crash a team or knock somebody and just go as crazy as they possibly can on them.
คิดว่าต่างกันที่มีทีมหน้าใหม่มามากขึ้นครับไม่ได้เจอทีมเดิมๆรวมถึงทีมหน้าใหม่เราอาจจะไม่ได้คุ้นชินสไตล์กับเขาว่าเขาเล่นยังไงเราคงต้องทำกันบ้านมากขึ้นแล้วก็บวกกับมีความกดดันที่ขึ้นชื่อว่า EWC รู้สึกว่าต่างกันเรื่องความกดดันแล้วก็เรื่องเงินรางวัลที่สูงมากขึ้นแล้วก็เรียกว่าแต่ละทีมมีความมุ่งมั่นมากขึ้นที่จะแย่งการเป็นแชมป์แล้วทำให้รู้สึกว่าทีมแต่ละทีมเนี่ยมีความที่โฟกัสมากขึ้นแล้วรู้สึกว่ามีกดดันมากขึ้นมีความกดดันมากขึ้นครับ